friends, we're going to look into the key tool and how it relates to the Christed Masters and what I can channel about that. This is the one tool that I was given and I personally developed further to be used as a central methodology to have twin flame progress, to move to that ascended life that brings to life all your heart's desires that you really want, where you will also live your mission and maybe support that with your mission business. It will be just this complete life, with family and health and mental health and good food and love and a partner and something to share, which will be your mission, supported by the business, and all these things that will come to fruition there for you. And how to move forward to create that in the baseline, that's what you do with the key tool. It is something that just asks from you to genuinely answer a couple of questions, and you need your feelings for that. You need to be honest emotionally to be able to make these 4 questions work for you. And this is how you go deeper. In other words, resolve your upsets. In other words, move forward on the twin flame journey. In other words, spiritually develop in a way that includes your true twin flame, in a way that you could do at home very easily, actually. And at the same time, it's very profound, and it's truly what the Christed Masters would advise for you. And it is also the basis of how I could help you and guide you. But there's more, of course, in that guidance that will be given you, because the teacher also has suggestions where this doing the key tool will lead you and what your blocks are and what not. Right? They have the overview for you, so that always works brilliantly when we do it like that. And we have this combination of you doing it yourself, taking the responsibility yourself, and doing it together, and having the guidance of the teacher that has the overview. And yeah, this key tool also is the basis for so many more tools and methodologies and courses that I can provide for you, because in the course of the years I have gotten this entire world of tools and methods for you that are based on it. Now you can learn the key tool the best way by coming to our Facebook group, and the link is in the description box below and in the pinned comment. And there you can download your information, come to live events and read posts about it, and many more things. Even post about your progress with it, and also get feedback from me on that. But how on earth did this tool come into being? We're just going to look deeper into that. We are in this video, but I don't know, maybe first let me introduce you to what it is. There are, of course, also more videos about that on my channel. Go to my channel page itself, not YouTube generally, but my channel page itself, and there you will find a specific search box where you can put key in, and then you will find the videos about that. Yeah, but it goes like this. There are actually 2 versions. And version 1 works with your feelings, with your emotions that will be turned around into deeper soul qualities that you own on the permanent level, while emotions are really fleeting, passing by. And the other one works with, well, you also need to start with your emotions and feelings about it and so on, but you will be more literally turning things around in the situation, in what you meant with the first question. So you're going to turn around in version 2 everything that was in the world and in other people that was upsetting you. You're going to turn around that, pointing it to yourself, and see what that gives you, so that you can research that and see if that is true and how that can be true. And then you can look into those outcomes into yourself and love yourself there so much that it will disappear where it all came from, inside of you, which gives you a turned around feeling to reapproach the reality around you as well. That will then appear changed for you. So that's how that works. So version 1 goes from step 1, 2, 3, 4. From step 1 is like, goes a little bit like this: I'm upset because he is not committing to me and that makes me feel rejected. To question 2, which is, this is an example, right? Question 2 is, what do I actually want? And I'm allowed to be angry about that if I really feel that too, because this is a good step to have, and to connect with your body and your energy body also, and feel where you are really feeling these emotions, and of huge anger if it need be, and if that's the truth. Absolutely, in step 2. So that will be, I want him to see me. Yeah, that's it. And then we go to step 3, and that's the question that is like, what underneath this wanting am I longing deeply for? Is there a space underneath it, also in the energetic space of my body? Is there underneath it a space that I can feel into? What if there's something more than this wanting? If there's something more still and longing and desiring underneath it, and what might that be? And that might be something like this, an example again. I long to see myself for who I truly am. And then in step 4, we're going to accept what we said in step 3 as something that is already true. Because when you can long for it, when it's your desire, then you must already somehow know somewhere inside of you that this exists for you. So that is what you're going to make come true in step 4. And you're going to let this whole feeling sink through your legs, through your feet into the ground, and encompass you entirely, that you just are stepping into it literally, and it will feel like this. I'm someone that sees herself for the sacred, divine feminine that she truly is, one with her union, and shares how that is being done. Awesome. So that's key version 1, and then we have key version 2, and that is going to be like this. Question 1 is, what am I upset about the other and the world and whatever it is? And try to put it in this phrase, because this is a very helpful order of phrasing things. I'm upset because he went back to the other girl, and that makes me feel left all alone in sadness. And in step 2, you're going to see what this same sentence would sound like if you would turn everything you're putting out to the world, to other things, and to other people around to yourself, and see what that sounds like, and have a taste of that, so that we can research further what to do with that sentence, in the further steps. And that would sound like this. I'm upset because I went back to my other self, and that makes me feel so sad and alone. And then step 3 for key version 2 means that you're going to research how that can be true. And I start to feel already like, oh, that's interesting, because now I can see that I went back to my other self which means that I went back to sort of my ego that mildly tries to manipulate people because I don't know any better, because that's how I was raised, and I was frankly um, incredibly emotionally um, abused. And this is how this thing developed inside of me, and it's pretty sad that that went so. And but it's still my responsibility to make that different. And it is not my soul, it is not my true self, it's really not how I feel myself really to be. So yeah, so I went back to my other self, and that means, and that makes myself sad. So I'm just having the opportunity now to correct that. I feel, to go back to my soul that is loving and assertive and can find solutions with the help of the divine itself in full trust and faith. That's my true self. And I know that it must work there. Everything works out there when I connect there in my true self. But I see that I did that. I went to my false self again. So yeah, that's what I can repair. And step 4 is then, okay, what do I need to make this work? What do I need to love myself there? And I feel that, oh yes, I just need so much self-compassion, and I need love. And I'm going to let that in right now. I'm just going to let it in from the divine. Even when I don't know where that comes from, I'm going to allow it nevertheless. Let it come to me, the compassion and the love that I need, the self-compassion that I need here. And I open myself to be filled up with that right now, 100%. And let's augment this stream of love that I'm receiving right now times 1,000. And then the result of that, let's augment that stream of flow of love 1,000,000 times. Yeah, what we have there, let's make that bigger 1,000,000,000 times. Thank you, God, for helping me do that. And let's make that automatic. So these are the 2 versions of the key exercise. And this has been coming to me after a developmental process, and eventually I came at these 2 versions of it with these 2 approaches. And when you've seen my last video about the A Course in Miracles book in combination with the Crisis Masters, you have already heard me speak about this, that there is a methodology, some sort of the inner workings of how to come to your true self. And there is, well, there are more than one way. There are 2 ways sort of that form the main approaches to how to do that. And they are represented also here in the key version 1 and the key version 2. And the key version 1 is more the divine feminine attuned, energetic, feeling wise, energy body and body way to approach this. And the key version 2 is much more the mind attuned, the divine masculine methodology attuned, and the working with your thoughts kind of way. That is more Christed Master attuned, while the first one with the energy body thing is more the magician kind of, the magic, the energy work kind of way, which belongs to me and my soul family. And the other mind attunement is more the Christed Master family, soul family attunement. So this is also a tool, the key tool, in which these 2 forces meet. And you can try them both. And it's both the key tool that, unlocks your true potential in the twin flame sense, and your true abundance that comes through you, into the world, through your union outwards, when you start to make that come true in harmonious twin flame union, the foundational consciousness state of twin flames. And this key only unlocks the true twin flame. And the true twin flame is the only thing that you will find yourself with in harmonious twin flame union. And harmonious twin flame union is the only door that opens your true abundance in this world. That is joyful and peaceful and truly connected to the divine 100% and joyful. That's what I said already. But I think I wanted to add something like, well, abundant, right? Made of all the soul qualities that you crave and that you need and that you desire to share. So that's where it all developed into, right? And when you really get a hang of how this all works, you will see a whole development in and around you and in understanding this and whatnot. But there's a whole history of how I came here. And in itself, the key tool, version 1 or 2, well, let's say version 1, because that's more like the version of the Divine Feminine methodology that I stand for with the energy body, etc. That is more the one that really fits into the bigger whole. So I even have a bigger key version 1 for you, and that is what I call Yod, which means the hand. And well, it does refer to the hand of the Master Christ at the same time, because, you know, my work is the meeting with the Christed Masters, which means that I am someone, and then the meeting is working in some sort of way. It's not only them, it's both. So anyway, so Yod is, it has a length of 3 times the key exercise. And there are more questions that you will answer there, and they will refer to everything you would want to need in every moment again, would want to know about your whole functioning in your harmonious twin flame union ascended way of living. So it includes like your mission step that you're going to make and what you need for that, what kind of support you would want for that, and so on. It's really magical. So this is also how you see that the key tool comprises of a lot more than what I present for free for everyone. So of course, it's logic that I don't give everything, of course, in YouTube videos and everything. And in the Facebook group and whatnot, when you work closely one-on-one with me, you know, in my coaching options, then the more you do there and the closer you come to me, the more material comes out of my very rich vaults for you to be able to use, of course. I think that seems logic, isn't it? So, and where did all of this come from? Well, so I had been learning with my first spiritual teacher since I was hardly 20 years old. 19, I think I was still 19. Almost 20. And that was a school very much geared towards that meditation, yoga, energy field kind of thing. That does open up in the inside of you towards the true light of the divine, that the Christed Masters have another method to go to, which is the big shift, as we had in the video of the ACIM, which is an approach that is very direct. It's just you shift now, and it's just now. Well, in the energy body approach, that's also, of course, in the now, but it seems sometimes more like it's more incarnated and it's more lived in the daily life, and it's more with your energy body. And yeah, it's like this soft feeling around it. And when the softer you become, the more you will be able to easily feel that inner light. And that's more how it was geared. And I started to work with him. And I mean, eventually I worked with him and people from that school for like 17 years. 17 years approximately. And that's where I got to know this deeper feeling that was the true juice of spiritual life, that would contain the connection that you want. That is the same kind of connection that is also here when you connect with the divine, and therefore with your twin flame, who is your partner in the divine. And I got to know how that felt, and how that was in very many ways some sort of different, almost opposite of what society says that you need to do and that you are, and that things are defined as, and so on. And that is very general for every spiritual development. It seems quite opposite, right? And that is also why, by the way, going back to the eventual key tools in their short versions, 1 and 2, that's why in both of them you need to have a turnaround, because it's pretty much opposite of what you were educated and taught in society, in school, and how you were brought up and whatnot. And that is how you come to this true self, what the twin flame clicks in with. I mean, I can't bring it, I can't make it any different for you, you know, that's just what that is. And it's what you want, because that's where the love is, and that is the richness, and that is really what you desire. So don't be afraid of that, but it can seem a little awkward sometimes, you know, like, oh, that's other way round than I thought, or oh, that was also wrong, you know. It's not wrong like immorally wrong, but in like different than you thought it was, different than you learned, you know. That's so funny. So, and that is also why you always need to have this turnaround, and that is why even my beautiful 13 steps course, in which I guide you towards, well, 13 steps to get to know your feelings, because you need your feelings to put into this key tool. Otherwise, you can't do it right. So that's why I suggest doing the 13 steps course first, to get to know what the heck your feelings even are, you know, and get to play with that a little bit. Research different aspects of what type that might be, and when you go deeper in it, what kind of consequences that has and what not. Because we're often also brought up in a way that is very cerebral and only about, well, if you think in the right way, that's enough. And if your behavior is like bow to your parents and the police agent, then that is good enough. But feelings, oh, never heard of. You know, many of us are raised like that. So that's why I have the 13 steps course for you to get going in that direction. But that is still only a preparation, because in this true key tool, wherefore you again need your feelings, otherwise you can't properly do it, and it will be about nothing, well, only about an idea. But that is something, it's a start for the key tool, but it's not really enough. So you need to put your genuine feelings inside of that tool. And in that tool, you will see that you will start to do the one thing that is so necessary, that is turning it around, right? So that's the turnaround that you truly need, even though you already know how to work with feelings. Yeah, so now we jumped again from my early in this lifetime, because I also remember past lifetimes, but I think for this video we're going to leave that out for now, more later. We jumped from my early time with my spiritual teacher towards the key tool in 4 steps, 2 versions for how it's now and how it is functioning now. But there was a moment that was like 11 years approximately after I started to work with my spiritual teacher. And I had, in a sense, less of a contact with him at that time. And something that was woven through my entire life already started to come forward more. And there was something between me and the Christed Masters, and it came forward more, and I started to act on that. And that was an introduction to that I later on, some 6, 7, 8 years later, started to truly unlock the Christed Masters and physically also worked with them. An episode in my life that I now closed off, and we're now living the fruits of those meetings as well that are integrated into my work and methodology and how to reach twin flame union and whatnot. But early on, when I let that thing back into my life, it was around 2011, the year 2011, 11 years approximately after I started to work with my first spiritual teacher. And that is when I would find myself in a chapel in the inner city, where I moved back towards to be with my true twin flame, because that was shown to me that he was here now too, which looking back was true, but because we met up again in 2009 after having been together in our teenage years. But in 2011, so I found myself more than once between working freelance in the city for different culture and art institutions and whatnot, in a chapel dedicated to Mother Mary. And one day, approximately in that year, I got reached out by a mysterious woman that gave me this pamphlet that I had never seen afterwards. And here it is. I always kept it. And this is where the first rough version of the key exercise came to me in. It is the 5 roads of spiritual exercise to sanctify our souls and the enrichment of the perfect soul qualities. And there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an extra one on the back side. Explained. And this is a rough version, is inside of it, primarily in step 3. Well, actually all of it, but I would say primarily in step 3, that later on became the key exercise, because I started to meditate on what this meant. Because it felt as though Mother Mary, as an emanation of Divine Mother, God in other words, was speaking to me through this. And I started to think about what the heck this meant, because I came with all my sadness about having been abused in the past and still having problems with that, and a desire to be with my twin flame that I couldn't seem to resolve somehow. And it felt very deep and very mysterious and very true and very real. And the more I thought about it and tried to do it and tried to develop it and whatnot, the more I started to realize that, it was already what I knew from working with my first spiritual teacher. But it was somehow in steps, and somehow in words, and somehow very direct. And somehow it just said, turn it around, instead of, well, it was the same. The result of the meditation and energy work was feeling that where you eventually landed was a world that was the other way around than the outside world or something, like the society where I came from. But now Mary just said that. It was like, 3 words, just so penetratingly direct, like turn it around, end of story. And I think I was shocked by that. But it also was a huge entrance to be like, oh, you just can say it. Just like the key tool, 4 questions. You just can say it and just do it. So that was like the same, but then in the Christed Master approach with their directness of the mind. Who knew? So what it says in this step that most resembles what I was pondering about, and what was most like the core of this whole technique, was turn everything that your life presents you with around in prayer. From the moment that we wake up in the morning until when we sleep at night, we turn everything, even the most seemingly insignificant details, around in prayer, in accordance with God's will. We can also turn everything around that happened in the past in prayer. Whatever we remember of what happened in the past. And these kinds of prayers will sanctify our souls and give an intense quickening of your journey. And it will lessen your lessons in your karma. Well, the word karma is not here. I'm translating it from Dutch. But that's what it comes down to. These kinds of prayers will take away the separation between God's unending love and ourselves. Will help you reach perfection. But what does that mean? Turn it all around. Or how to exactly do that, even though I already had the experience of what that was 1 decade earlier. So actually, at first, I was like, let's do instead something with the backside, the extra exercise, which was about change all your senses around to inner senses. Your understanding, your eyes, and it also says to touch it, your talking, your hearing, your love. Turn these senses around to inner seeing, inner hearing, inner speaking, inner loving, inner understanding. That's what I thought was a good start, because that seems somehow more concrete or something, because I was still trying to ponder how to put into practice this turn everything around in prayer. Well, but how? So I started to think like, okay, so maybe we're going to work with the inner senses. And that seemed to be an entrance that was very close by for me, because I was working in the culture and artistic and creative like industry, right? And I was working as a museum teacher for children of 6 to 106. And I was doing my poetry performances and my own educational performances with music and poetry and art. And I was making entire multimedia performances in theater with my colleagues that were musicians and poets and whatnot. So these were the kind of things I was doing. And I was like, yeah, we can do so many things with the idea of like seeing, that's like visual art, and like hearing, that's like music, and that's like speaking, that's like literature and words and poetry. And then, so that's how I started to place these connections. I was like, yeah, maybe you can, soften your hearing and make it an entrance to go into inner hearing with music. And I started to see all these, even these educational purposes for it. And I started to think out whole projects about it. I'm not kidding you, and I still believe that is magnificent. But I tried to build something on these ideas that would be a sound business-wise structure. And to build that, I wanted to fund it with, well, sort of culture and artistic funds. And meanwhile, thinking this out and trying to work with it, I also needed to eat something and make money now. So I did my best. I truly did this. I truly tried to bring together money for it. Like significant sums, to build something and to also build something in the cultural industry locally here and stuff. But to make a long story short, was not able to collect enough funds, and also was not able to collect enough understanding for the profundity and necessity for this project by the many people I have talked to. And that was some sort of, it didn't really go. It didn't really work anymore for that moment. But then I started to be taken much deeper, still researching how to do this stuff with a turnaround. But I actually was doing it because we also organized events that were about the true love that it is supposed to open you for, right? And for instance, we had an event that was called the Love Yourself Day, and we did it on Valentine's Day. So cute. And it was about coaching to open yourself to the self-love that can deepen into this divine self-love, right? And I had talks with people that day, that was like one-on-one, some sort of a coaching thing. And it was about feeling what you were feeling, doing what you were doing, and then going to the other side with it, turning it around. So that was the start of the methodology. What are you experiencing and feeling right now? And turning it around started there. But how to really incorporate that with the twin flame journey that I myself was on, because I was still not fully clarified what it all was for me, although I was in the midst of it all the time. And I was not yet in harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, which we now know is available through the intercession of the Christed Master soul family to be available for many more, let's say, normal, quote unquote, people on the earth right now. And that actually all fell into place when I decided on that the turnaround would actually become the emotional turnaround of key version 1 and turning it around into your soul creative qualities. That's how I would call it then. And I made key version 1, and then that came into practice and in full acknowledgement when I finally started to work in real life with the Christed Masters now on earth, which is not Mother Mary, but Mother Mary does guide one of the Christed Masters on earth now from behind the scenes. And I met her in real life, so that really became something that was alive for me in the most literal sense. And that was also where everything with the twin flame started to get into its final form. And I started to learn that I did not only got it from Divine Mother through Mother Mary's outreach to me and working the idea of turn it around in prayer into key version 1, which is turn the emotions that you have in a situation around to the more subtle layer of your energetic self, which is your soul creative qualities that you already own and that you can assert yourself with. But it also started to collide with the acknowledgement that the Christed Masters that I started to meet that support the outroll of harmonious twin flame union consciousness state in the universe right now, and that are on the earth right now, that I met in the flesh, they started to show me that they actually worked with key version 2 and that it in essence is the same. So there was the acknowledgement of the exact thing what Divine Mother told me. And that it was also used by these Christed Masters. And that is because that is the underlying idea of how the Christed Masters think and feel, and how they say to go directly to the light. And that's what is elucidated also in A Course in Miracles book, and that's the other video. So that's where I got it to completion. And I got it to acknowledgement, and I got it like beyond my personal feelings of insecurity. And I started to believe in it for myself on my twin flame journey a lot more, to the degree that I arrived myself. And then I was able to guide other people using this tool in the versions that we had coming through the Christed Masters, how they came into my physical life, and through me having traveled from the energy work of my first teacher and Mother Mary giving me her version and bringing that into my emotional energy version. Both of these, working with my own clients, I started to see that it did create, eventually, with the right understanding and the right guidance from a person that comes from all these backgrounds and is in harmonious twin flame union, is initiated in passing it on to the success of my own clients as well. For the twin flame journey into this ascended layer of living. So that's where we're now. Right. Let's look into a couple of oracle decks. Native American, which is interesting because I actually use that because it comes from a lifetime that I remember. The bear, number 10. Introspection. Bear means many things, including strength, confidence, and protection. Because bear hibernates, she also brings us a strong message of isolation, quiet solitude, and deep internal reflection. In order to feel safe and secure enough for such inner work, bear reminds us to strengthen ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and to create a safe sanctuary in order to withdraw and explore spiritual truths. Bear is also a mighty nurturer and encourages us to nurture ourselves so that we are fit to nurture others. The mirrors highlight the idea of inner reflection. There are mirrors on the card as well. When the way ahead is unclear, withdraw, attend to your spirit, and allow the way to unfold. Well, introspection, instinct, dreams, reflection, inner knowing, strength, nurturing, protection. Isn't that exactly what we do with the key tool? We do self-reflection to the divine degree. That's another way of saying what that is. That's another way of saying what Mother Mary told me. Turn your life around in prayer. Reflect, self-reflect, and if need be, withdraw and dare do your key work, inner work. Twin flame inner work, other word for it. And it'll work out for you. Because reality always mirrors what you need to know. You can withdraw and pray about this situation while turning it around, doing the key tool, version 1 or version 2. And that'll give you the answer that is right, That'll give you the answer that transforms you in the correct way. And that will give you a changed world once you re-enter the world, because you feel different, you are different, and the outside world may have changed as well as a result of your changed beingness, or it won't bother you anymore. Or the outside world will change as an answer to how you are different. All of these, the life purpose deck, justice, trust, time to decide, animals. I love that. You know, the girl and the panther, or whatever it is, the big cat. Often in mythology you see human and animal form combined into one beingness, and when they're depicted next to each other, that sort of means the same. She's also an angel with wings. And that means that we as human beings are having a divine mind as humans, and also having like an animal quote-unquote body. We have an animal nature as well, with our wants that we will go for and devour and whatnot. And the key exercise is here to take both into account when you transform. It's not only overseeing something from above and saying love and light. That would be going over the actual value of things and the wholeness of things and the wholeness of what you are. But it's also not only, okay, so I just want my twin flame, so let me grab them. That's more like your animal nature. No, that's also not correct. It combines the two and transform them by turning it around inside of you, and then you come out again out of your bare place, hiding place in the world, and things will be different. It also means to make a different decision, time to decide. Inside doing the key tool, you turn the reality around and you make a new decision. You make a new choice. You make the choice to stand on what is the inner truth of things. What is the turned around truth of things. That's the new choice that you make, which is another approach to the same thing. It does mean to create trust. Trust with your deeper self. Trust with the source that you came from. That you're not needing to run after what you believe you need, but that you can go in like the bear did and self-reflect with the turnaround of the key. And that will unlock what you actually want, what God knows that you actually desire in your heart, instead of what you think you desire. And then we have the justice. Again, these are the 4 cards again, it's just the same. Justice. The outcome of the key tool is divine justice. This is the process of divine justice. And it can be small with this one upset you had this morning with the cars on the street. But when you keep on doing it and your entire life becomes one prayer in which you turn everything around, you start to see that you live inside of this turnaround transformation prayer. And there's actually one big moment of transformation happening in your life right now. And you start also to feel that the entirety of the Christed Masters are there to guide you through it. And you start to see that this is the big transformation of all twin flames. And this is the nature of all humans. And this is the collective future that we're moving into. And you start to see that it is about everything of you. All your life, all your lifetimes. And that all end here and merge into the one union now. Living with your true twin flame in harmonious union permanently now. And that is the moment of justice. And that is what this is about. And that starts to sound like, ooh, we're in the end times, biblical end times. But that's actually true. But many things around that are fantasized versions upon what is truly true. Now, I have gone through the true truth. So I could also dispel that for you. And at the same time, it is true, so that you know it. Okay. Angel answers. These two makes it quick as well. No need to worry. Because Divine Mother takes over. That's another way of saying what this is. Surrender into God. No. You will say no to many things through doing this exercise. As a result of it, on the other side, you will get to know what you truly are, where you're moving towards. And therefore also what it is not, where you're moving away from, through continually doing this exercise. It will start to form you in a way that excludes many things that you held as a possibility earlier before, such as like, oh, other lovers, maybe I can still choose to go out with that guy. Maybe I can still, be a teacher of economics a little bit here and there, but it is not conform what you actually are in your true union. And eventually you will see that everything starts to be so clear for you and so one, so unified that you will step out of these many things that you thought were all kinds of options, that you could still have, oh, well, I still have another option if it doesn't work out. Now, that's not how that ascended life eventually actually works, because it really brings you to what you truly are. And that is also sometimes the role of the teacher, to show you what it truly is. And it's also the communication between you and God in your intimate relationship that will be the, what is it called? The revelations that you will have too. They will all point to this one thing, and giving everything that you have and are in it, which is a seeming no to the rest. But it is at the same time the door towards everything that you want, because it takes over your entire life. No, we were going to do this. Yeah. Personal wisdom deck. Okay. It is good to ask for support at a place where people can give it to you. And that is true in this whole process of coming to the one answer, which says no to what you are eventually not. There is support for you. There's a community for you. There's a teacher for you. There's coaching for you. There's help for you. There are courses for you. Right? It's good to ask support, from those that can help you. So please ask your twin flame support from those that can truly help you, instead of those that will lead you astray. All Christed Masters, including Mother Mary, and through her Divine Mother, will come and help you when you start to do this work. When you start to do the key tool, because it's something that came through her. So these forces will automatically step forward and come into your space to help you. They will. And that's also why you see at this moment that I have some sort of theme now, that I speak about the Christed Masters, and I also have a workshop about that real soon, where we live right now, where this video comes out in May 2024, because it's already going to be on Saturday, June 1st and Sunday the 2nd as an extra day. In this time, I also see it in my students and in the community, that people automatically, spontaneously get into connection much more with Jesus and Mary, and they dream about them and they feel it. Comes forward more in the communications, because that's where it all came from. Mother Mary gave me the rough version of what key is. And it does also turn around your senses into your inner senses. And I would love for us to go back to these projects to work with that too. And it actually is incorporated. It is in the year course, or the school course, that's going to be opened up at this moment in 2024, real soon again, as one of the 12 months. So don't be mistaken, all this material is here for you to help you. And it's all a one in the key tool, and it all is fanned out in all these possibilities that are all completely supported by Divine Mother and Mother Mary and Jesus and Akhenaten and Nefertiti and Buddha and Krishna and Shakespeare and, well, so many. 56 of them, including those of the Christed Soul family present in our life now on earth, in the flesh, but they're less known. Mother Mary says, Our Lady of Radiant Grace. So you will start to radiate on the divine vibration level through practicing this. Number 33, which is a beautiful number of growth, mystical growth. The descent of my grace changes everything. Your body, your mind, and your soul are brought to life in new ways, and freedom opens up to you. Can you release your familiarity with and attachment to old ways of being? Can you release your expectation of enslavement and control? You are my child. When you place your trust in me, I allow no one to harm you, nothing to confine your spirit. You are free to live wildly and expansively. There shall be no prison for your soul, beloved of mine. Your soul shall be in love with the earth and fly free. Oracle of Mary Magdalene, Guardian Angel. All kinds of helpers come forward in this process, also your guardian angel. And your spirit guide can come forward, introduce themselves to you. Your soul family can can come forward, you can get to know them, which is in the definition of the true divine order, that is your true twin flame and you as one unit, and other unions that truly belong to the same soul family ray as you. You can get to know them too. You will get to know what's your true mission. So many things that will be presented to you to assure you how much you are loved and how deeply you are rooted into your abundance. That's what will happen when you accept the invitation of Divine Mother through Mary to turn your entire life around in prayer, because this is the way of love for the Lord. And according to this source, this was received by the woman Julia Kim in 1985 in Naju, South Korea. And that is still functioning as a place where is a sanctuary. So these are also some historic things. But this happening and how it came through Mother Mary and through the woman that I started to refer to as Mother Mary Lady. She taught me more things than only this. And all of these happenings and how they were socially in my life, woven into it over the years, they have all contributed to where we are now. As movements that are motivated solely and entirely, completely, only directly from Divine Mother herself, through Mother Mary herself to me, or direct communications. Even though sometimes they presented themselves as woven into the tapestry of my life and my social life, which is one of the ways how God speaks directly to you. So may the key exercise also become that for you. That was the end of the channeling. I hope this helped, and I hope that you have more inspiration and more ideas about how the key tool is connected to the Christed Masters and can be integrated into your life, where it all came from and how you can use it. Start to do it today. And also don't forget that we do have the Christed Master local workshop in my place where I live in Arnhem, the Netherlands, in Europe. And I will have a link about that in the description box also, so that you can see how to attend if that's for you. Now, yeah, I will leave a couple of links about certain things I've been talking about in this video. And I hope that helps you too. Be sure to stay tuned, because I will put a video here that fits very well with what we've just all been talking about. And I will see you right there. Love from Petra.